Hi and welcome to Tweet Street. I'm Mick Tiffany and I'm a novice lizard canary keeper and breeder. Join me on my journey as I strive to breed birds good enough for the show bench. Hello everybody, welcome to this episode of Tweet Street, episode 44. Just really a roundup of what's been happening during the year. We're just a few days now before the end of 2024, so our breeding's all finished, the show's all finished, and we're all rubbing our hands together thinking, great, can't wait for next spring when we start all over again. And so what I'm going to go through is roughly what's happened in the year with me and the channel, and we'll see where we'll go from there. So for those of you that are new to the channel, a lot of this is thanks to David's Bird Room for his recent Getting to Know series. Welcome to those that are new. Basically, this is all about me and my keeping and breeding of lizard canaries. In 2025, I'm going to be venturing into the world of 5 canaries. I've got 2 pairs of those to try for the first time for me to get them to a show standard. So I'm a novice. I'm in my 4th year at the moment, so next year 2025 will be my last year as a novice, so that'll make it interesting. I've got to start knowing what I'm talking about. So this channel is mainly about what I do, and I tend to try and storyline some of the pairs of birds I have, so you'll see them being paired up, you'll see them mating, laying eggs, hatching, the weaning process, molting of the birds, and then getting them ready for the shows, and then seeing how those birds get in the shows, how they get on in the shows. So you'll see more of a story of the birds themselves, rather than me telling you how and what you should be doing, because most of you guys have got birds, you know how to feed birds, clean the aviary, all that kind of thing. You know, you're clever. So it's really a storyline of the birds themselves with me waffling on in between of what's gone on that week. So if you haven't seen it before, that's what'll happen. So what I'm going to do now is just show you what's happened in the last 12 months since we started the channel, and how it's progressed and how it's helped me get on better as a novice. So I started the channel back last January, and didn't really know what I was doing. Basically it was just me having a clear out day. It was a Saturday, and that's what a lot of us do as part of our routine, is cleaning. So we started a little show, completely different beginning to the show. Obviously a little bit of Star Wars addiction comes through, but it was basically me having a quick scan of the bird room. You can see the sort of cages I use. These are called a Portofino cage, Italian. The good size cage is quite a large cage. I think 950 in width. You can divide them into 2. You can also buy some bits of kit to divide them into a long flight, which I have on some parts of it. So it was a quick scan, an all-action episode of me starting to get the cleaning process. But at this point, I was doing no narration because I was exceedingly nervous, shy, and all those things that go with that. So it was really what I do most Saturdays, which was the cleaning process. And I'm sure you'll do something very similar. What I've found really useful is outside I use a jet washer, and because the bottoms come off, they get obviously a lot of the bird poop on. It's nice and easy to clean with the jet washer. It's really quick, really easy. And that was basically episode 1. Very shortly after, I obviously realised that I would need to do some talking, which I found difficult at the time, and you'll be pleased to know I found it a bit easier to keep going on about stuff now. So episode 2, which came out very soon after, we chatted about the technology a little bit, about the bird room. You can see just some images of the bird room, Tweet Street, and then another scan of what was going on during that time. At this point, it's mid to late January, so some of the cages are empty because I've got rid of a lot of the birds after that initial season, and I like to give them a good clean. We had a nice little outro at the end of the episode, which I do like, and I might actually include this now in 2025. Just some of the young birds in the aviary having a little nibble on some salads. And that was that. So then quickly we got into going episode 5. This was the end of February. Now I'm dismantling a lot of the cages, ready for a deep clean. This is about the time of year I like to do it. Now previously I'd had some trouble with mite, which really do my noddling, as it would any bird keeper. Now luckily these Portofino cages, the plastic, they come apart, so you can just take them to pieces like the day you bought them. So I do that, I dismantle them, I take them outside, I get the jet washer and I'll give them a good deep clean. I pour boiling water over everything to kill any nasties, and that's super clean. But what I've done this year for the first time, which seemed to help, was on the back of the cages and on the sides and underneath and on the top and all the nooks and crannies, I just smeared a very thin layer of Vaseline, because your average mite is not going to walk through Vaseline, and that worked really well. On the floor, behind the cages, on the walls and on the worktop that they sit on, I'll put the Dimetris earth, I think it's pronounced. I'll have to get these teeth sorted out for that, but I'll put that in. It's basically ground up silicon or siliceous rock, I believe it is, and that really stops the mite as well. So it was just to make it a place where mite don't want to be coming around, and that's what we've done. We had a few images of some of the birds in the garden, some goldfinches and greenfinches, which I have on the olive tree just outside the house, and we had a little look at some of the young quail we had hatch out previously. They're having to peck around, and I was trying to get them to drink and eat, and that was really entertaining. Now we're up into early March. I put a bug bomb in to kill any bugs. The birds had a little bit of a trim, bit of a Brazilian around the tickle tackle area, and I should do that this year. Seemed to work well this year. Episode 8 we're up to now. The birds looking at nesting and bonding, and I discovered AI, artificial intelligence, because I haven't got a lot of my own. So I now put a posh background in. Now some of you might think I've got a lovely living room. Excuse me. It's not the case, okay? It's all pretend. Background's all pretend. I'm in a little cooped up office, and that's the wardrobe behind me. And then we started pairing some of the birds up, and here's a couple just with a plain divide between. Shortly after, mating has taken place, and we start getting eggs laid, and now we're coming up into March. Like I say, we're coming into March, which is a lovely time of the year for me. It's when I start breeding, about the second week of March. We've had our plans, we know what we want to do. The birds hopefully will be laying eggs and sitting on eggs if it's all gone well. And mine didn't go too bad. End of March, episode 10, the sex changing birds. There's always a couple that decide it's surely not me picking the wrong birds. 2 males don't lay many eggs. Strange, I know, but it does happen. In the garden outside, it's been lovely. It's spring. The flowers are coming up. The insects are coming out. And we have a round yellow thing in the sky called the sun, and that sometimes comes out and warms up, and it's quite a nice time. But we've extended all the lighting hours for the birds now. I've increased the amount of food available, so they know it is time to get down to business, and that's hopefully what they'll be doing. I've got a plan B, as you saw on the little clip, and that's just in case things go wrong, and of course they always do. But now we're coming up into April. Hatching, they're going to be hatching now. Plan B, that's where I've had to change some of the birds round. Like I say, 2 cock birds don't lay many eggs, and we've done all that. Now at this time as well, I'd made contact with a few guys in Australia, especially Mike Berlin, and thanks Mike. We had Andrew C down there as well, Michael Pulo has been also putting the Tweet Street on his sites as well, which is brilliant, and it's just getting more airtime for the Lizard Canaries. So big thanks to you guys down there, and for everybody else all around the world that's been watching and sending messages. For me, it's a lovely time to see the young chicks. Here's some being fed, and I never really get bored of seeing it. Hopefully you don't either. It's a lovely looking hen bird as well. It's a couple of weeks before them to hatch, and I lost 1 or 2 chicks this year, and I've had Graham Davis gave me some great tips, and after his tips of hand feeding for the first few days, I didn't lose any more, which is brilliant. So we kept on with that, and we should continue to do that this year. Now we're up to episode 15, so if you are new and you wanted to go back on any of these episodes, just have a little look and search and you'll find them somewhere. Now this is every 4 seconds was a different day in the life of these particular young chicks. The first few days, they're just balls of skin. You can see the eyes developing. They've got as much hair as I've got, and but they'll soon get over that. I mean, I'm so busy I haven't got time to grow mine. That's my excuse. Now, all I've done was took some clips each day, but there was, I think it's day 10 or 11, I managed to just miss a day, miss the footage, and there's a remarkable difference in size of chicks when you think that they grow. This is just in each 4 seconds is 24 hours. They really go to town on growth. And it's great to see and get a good idea of the progress of them as well. So we're not far down line, and these guys are thinking, well, I've had enough of sitting in the nest, I want to be out now. And in the wild they'd have to get up and about quite quick. The parents will want to feed them, get them off onto a branch somewhere, get them flying, get them strong, safety. Here for us it's a little bit different. We haven't, the safety is not too much of an issue, but quite often the parent birds will want to go down again. So it's best to sort of move off. Now, what I should do next year, I think, is probably take the pans off, put them lower down and put another pan in. I shall alter that, so there'll be something new for 2025 for me to try. You just see this little fellow who's thinking about going. He'll go in the end, I'm sure he will. Go on. There you go. There you go. So lovely to see. Love that, every bit of it. And then we're slowly coming up into episode 16. The chicks are getting a little bit bigger. I've given some blue more, and they're feeding for themselves, or trying, or pushing brothers and sisters out the way, siblings to get. Now you can see these are the young lizards in their young coat of feathers, which after the molt completely changes. They'll keep the same pattern on the head, so you can see which ones are broken caps, clear caps, and you'll see all that. Okay, there we go again. I'm back. Sorry about cutting these off every now and then reappearing. I've had the dreaded flu. I work in a hospital. I do bring some things home with me, like bugs. The missus got flu at the minute. I'm getting over it, but the throat keeps drying up a little bit. I've got some Irish stout, which I'm hoping later on might help soothe my vocal cords. I can only try and hope. If that's a miracle cure, I will let you know. So the birds are there pecking away on their stuff, on their blue moor, feeding for themselves. It's nice to see them fending for themselves as well. Now also later on, we had an issue with a cat sitting on top of the aviary and just generally scaring the birdies. So out come the steps, and it was basically man versus cat for a week or so to try and encourage it not to do so. Now, I didn't want to get out a blunderbuss and sit there on the veranda wait for it to show. We have a few cats around, but there's only one that's causing the grief. So I've got some plastic spikes, and we put them on top. These are quite a flexible spike. It's not like it's a razor sharp thing. It's enough to deter the cat, and I've put a little sounder which has got a little sensor in, so anything a bit, you can't really hear it to the human ear. To the cat's ear, you can. And that seems to have done well. So now the birdies are outside, and the young ones are enjoying themselves. I like them to go outside for a little while to get some proper sun, if we get proper sun, of course. And they're looking in really good condition out there as well. And that's nice. I do like them out in the aviary for a while. I think it's important to get that the proper vitamin C coming down from that, or vitamin D rather, from the sun. It's really good. Got a little clip of some more of them coming up just shortly. Now inside, the birds are going to be looking at going down for another round. My 3 best hens didn't really produce very well for me. I only got 3 young this year. They're all going down again next year, altering things, and we're going to see how that goes anyway. So that's the second round. I'm also out and about bird watching. I've just nipped out, managed to find some reed warblers and some sedge warblers singing away in the sun in the garden. We've got chaffinches coming to feed. I love the birds in the garden. This one's a male chaffinch. We only tend to get them when they're breeding. The rest of the year they're not fussed about coming in. We get a lot of greenfinches, we get loads of goldfinches, and say when it's breeding time, chaffinches like to come in. Now we did have a bit of catastrophe. One of the hen birds passed away on the nest. Got up one morning, she's laying on the nest of chicks, and she's not with us. So I've had to hand rear these 3 lovely birds. And I couldn't leave them. Obviously you can't leave them, you've got to do something with them. So I hand reared them, and as soon as they were ready to go in the weaning cage with the rest of the young, they did. So they didn't get too attached, and they're no longer attached to me whatsoever. If I go near them, they're off in the other direction. Now they've done very well. Like I say, I do like to storyline certain birds in the bird room. So obviously the parents, the cockbird was still around. He was with another hen, so it was just left to me to and the wife to feed these guys. Now they're still, look, you can still see them backing off, thinking that did we have this food from this fella or not? But they did, and they all done very well. Now I didn't colour feed these 3. The first round birds I colour fed. The second round I did not. And that just to give me an option of knowing that anything colour fed would have been the birds that were hatched first, and the younger birds I could visually see that weren't colour fed would be the later on hatched. It also gives me more interest for the competitions in the shows, because our sections for colour fed and non-colour fed. Now I took these 3, or 2 of these 3 went to Stafford and done really, really well. One comes second best natural, and one come 4th best overall. So I mean, it was well worth feeding them. It was lovely to see. I really enjoyed. You see the character of the bird when you get this close to them, and these 3 had proper characters. They give me a proper headache, but it was a pleasant headache to have. So at the time also I had some Lizard Canaries. You can see the size difference of the nest, the same size pan. They were tiny canaries, your Lizard. I did like them. They're gone now. They've been moved on because I've got the 5 canaries coming in for 2025. But I did like the Lizards, as you can see. They're nice, good parents. So if you're looking at another, think about that as a second pair. They were nice little Lizards. They're nice. So we're getting now to mid-July. Outside in the aviary we had some, my pair of Napoleon weavers. They tend to spend most of the year, 10 months of the year outside in the aviary. And the cockbird goes through a molt twice a year, and so he's gone from a dull brown colour to this beautiful yellow and black, very striking looking bird. And they're quite an active little bird to have in the aviary. That's why I like something, a little bit of eye candy in the aviary. And I put this, the bath out, I put some stones in so they can stand on there and it's not too deep. I have had a tragic accident many years ago, and you learn to not have your water too deep when the bird got trapped and couldn't get out, a young bird. So, but it's nice to see these guys, and you will find people that are new to the channel. I try to do things like put cameras in strange places to see different things. It's nice to see, not only bathing, but it's something nice to see if you like birds. You want to see birds on the TV. There's not many programs on general television. You're down to YouTube. And so hopefully things like this you'll appreciate. It's just something to sit and watch and relax. It's very nice. And if you haven't got a bird as a pet, seriously think about it. It's really good for your mental health. It's really nice. Just one bird in a cage is fine. If you want to go a pair of birds and start breeding, you can do so. And if you get really into it and you want to start showing birds, there's so many people and quite a few clubs out there that you can join, and you can ask questions and people will help you. They've always been very, very helpful. Since I've done this channel especially, I've had so many people helping me. It's been tremendous. And thank you for every single person that's commented, sent messages, phoned, whatever, met in the shows. I've learnt an enormous amount, and that's what keeps the hobby strong. That keeps things going. You can just see the female bird. That's what the male looks at the moment. He's looking like that. We're now December, remember, end of December, going into January. So he's gone down to his brown old ways. But they were lovely birds, very busy birds, and they're a joy to have in the aviary. So while the Napoleon weavers are outside, inside the birds are going through a little bit of a training exercise, getting them ready for the shows. So I've got one or two training cages that just hook on. Inside them enticed with a bit of spinach in the external cage, just hanging on, as you can see. And there's a little bit of string there with a tiny bit of honey on to encourage them in. Keeps them occupied, gets them used to going in and out of the cages, and I use that for transferring birds now from cage A to cage B regardless, rather than just grabbing a bird with the hand. It's much easier for them to come into a small cage, close the door, move the birds to where they want to go, whether it be another cage for going into the show, or whether you're just transferring them to a flight, or etc, etc. It's much easier. And you can also get when you've got a camera as well above, like on this, you can see the tops of the bird as well. You can start assessing which birds you think are going to be good or not so good. And so they're getting used to the cage, you're getting used to what the bird looks like, and it's a really nice training exercise. Other birds inside, we do have a quail. You saw them at the beginning of this episode when they were just hatched out a couple of days previous, and this is the one we've got remaining. The others have been moved on. They all survived, all done quite well, and this young lady's just having a sand bath, which she really, really enjoys. She still lays eggs. She's just 3 years now. They're not a long-lived bird, nice to see. The young were now in the aviary with some of the hens that have finished doing their bit for the year. Outside in the garden, the pond's doing well, and it's just a nice time to sit out and enjoy. Now, as I'm looking out my kitchen window, this is what I see. Down the bottom, I can actually see some the weavers, the pair of weavers. I put some long grasses in, and they're in there bending it over. They're out. They weave really like crazy. I have some coconut fibre, and I'll go in and they'll put it across the doors on purpose. So I go to open the door, ain't happening. It's wove shut. So they're a nuisance like that. I'm sure in the wild I'd be driving people crackers, but you can imagine the nest they would weave and make. It would be so strong. You can see why they're such a clever bird and so successful. The nest must be really, really. They wouldn't budge. You wouldn't find them on the floor. it's a nice time. The sun's out, the birds are in the shed, in the aviary. I'm there having a coffee, and I'm going to be assessing now what's going to happen for the show season, and that's going to be very, very shortly. So let's see what happens. So it's that time of year for the show season. The first one I went to was the Stafford, the National. The judge was Chris Jordan. To get ready for that, I needed to make a few adjustments. Dismantled my carry box. It needed updating, big time. And this was going to be the end result. It was going to be a nice, nice bright yellow. It already had the blue interior, and it just needed tarting up. So it was nice to do it outside, nice weather. Got the little roller out, bit of primer, and we give it a couple of coats. It was just black, scratch, messy before, and I just thought I'd go with bright yellow to be inconspicuous. And we'll see how that goes. It went all right. This is just the lid going on. The last little bit didn't take, because the roller's clock couldn't make short work of it. I noticed everybody else has black if it's supposed to be black, or if there's a rule I broke, I don't know. Anyway, in the garden, Blue Chip was coming to peck at some insects, keeping an eye on the birdies in the aviary, and we don't get too much action near that. You've got to be careful. You don't want them to spread disease to your birds, especially with the advent of flu, the bird flu, avian flu coming around. So I've got some more training cages from Chris Jordan, which was very kind of him, and Bob Snedden got me a couple. Brilliant. Cheers, guys. Clean, tidied and utilised. So now we've still got some birds in the moult. This is the start of September, and this is actually 3 of these, but the birds that you saw me hand rearing earlier. They're getting bigger, they're getting better. They're a little bit scrappy because they're going through that molt. And then later on, more training, of course. So I've got more cages now, which really helps. We're up to episode 37. It's the Stafford show, and excuse me, I shall have to get that magic stout going in a minute. So off I went to Stafford. I took 10 birds. I managed to get 10 ready, and this was one of those birds that I hand reared, and she done really well for me. Stafford was busy. My first time there. I shall look forward to going again. Next show is East Anglian. I've been there before. I really like the East Anglian show. A couple of judges come over from Belgium for the show. This is just some images of Bob Stebbins' naturals. He got 4 rosettes for his birds, and I made my own little thank you to the episode for the East Anglian guys, and that can be viewed if you go back and have a little look-see. It's a lovely show. 200 odd birds benched. It's got some good people helping promote it as well. Plenty of trophies to try to win, and some medals, etc. This was just a few. A couple of tokens of gestures to the 2 judges, and there they were with Joe Coakley. Lovely to see how all the birds there, but it's a nice time when you're at a show being judged, and like this little birdie, it's good to have a little nose around as well. So I've done that, and we've got some nice photos. So this year we managed to get all those put on, put some trendy little music. That's not me playing the music. I've not got a musical note in my body. I can't hear sing and I can't hear dance either. And so made a little episode for the East Anglian guys. Nigel Higgins won Best Lizard Canary in the show. I've done reasonably well with some of mine. I think I had 4 first in classes. At the same time, Matt Eldcunt dropped off a couple of the 5 canaries. Another show was added, and then we're back onto the LCA Classic. They were coming thick and fast now. I've not done the LCA Classic before, so I was quite happy. I took what I thought was my best bird, and she done really well. Second best novice. That was Danny Higgins, son of Nigel, best in show there, and they went on to have a good old scrap between them, father and son. Then we got the Southern Lizard Canary show. This was my last show of the year. I'd done okay at the show as well. It was a nice show. There's my bird again, done well at this one again, so she's my best gold hen to get on the top table there. It was really nice. And Danny Higgins won again. So I think Dad Nigel won 2, he won 2. It was a draw at the end of the year. They very, very kindly donated a pair of Lizard Canaries, which she'll do a little special on in 2025 to see how they get on. I've paired them together at the minute. I think they'll stay together. And so that's when the Higgins boys rode in. And now we're going to have the Higgins line in the aviary. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what those birds produce. For those that are new to the show, I also have a bird who we call Mariah Carey bird. She's a bit of a diva. She produced my 3 best birds of the year. She'll be going down next year. She only had 3 young this. Hopefully it'll be a bit better next year. And all her 3 that she raised are separated off and ready to go again for this year. So we'll see what happens there. So we've got a couple of nice little lines of birds. I've had some great help from people. From Andy Beasley, who pops over, helps out a couple of times, and he's also got a YouTube channel, so search out the Classic Lizard Canary on YouTube and you'll find some more info on those. That's really it for the year. I shall start again in January. If you're interested in watching how the birds progress and what I do, you'll be very welcome. Please come and join. We got the 5s as well. My first... It's new for me. Like I say, I'm a novice. It's my last year as a novice, and so I've got to get to grips with the 5s quick. Be interesting to see. So please join me. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. Please click a like, a share. If you want to comment, please do. You'll be very welcome to. So hope you all had a good Christmas. Hope your birds are well. Hope you have a great new year. It's only a few days away now. So happy new year everybody, and we'll see you all very soon. Bye bye for now.